Well, good evening, everybody. For those of you who've made the time to join us here this evening, we really appreciate it. I have a special guest star for you this evening, Katie Stage, who I met about maybe what has it been, Katie? About 4 months now, hey, that we met online through Dave, and it's just been a pleasure for me to sort of rub shoulders with Katie in the sense of I've been able to watch what she's doing online, what she's up to. And I must tell you, she's probably one of the most enthusiastic people I've seen. We do have this little chat group that we've going on Facebook in the chat. And Katie, if there's a chat, then Katie's there. So I don't know when she ever gets time to sleep, because we come from different parts of the world and we go around the clock. And whenever the chat group's live, Katie's part of it. So I don't know, she must have some sort of a secret that I'm sure she's going to share with us this evening as well. But yeah, I'm actually just very sort of inspired by her enthusiasm. I think it's rubbing off on a lot of people in the group, and it's nice to see Katie growing from strength to strength. One thing I also want to mention about her is that it's interesting to see that a lot of the really top gurus in the online world, the people who are at that sort of dream level of getting into six-figure salaries and so on, a lot of them have actually begun to acknowledge Katie. So I just wanted to mention that about her as well, is that she's being noticed out there. The stuff that she's posting is being noticed by some of the top people in the online industry. Yes, I thought I'd just bring her on this evening for those of you who are looking at my stuff and following me, just to give you a bit of a exposure to one of the I believe one of the rising stars in the online market. So Katie, I'm going to hand it over to you, and if you can maybe just tell us a little bit about possibly what you were doing before online marketing, how you came to it, basically then any tips for anybody wanting to start, so if that kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what you can chat to us about, take it away.
All right, thanks, Lowell, and thank you for letting me to kind of tell my story on this. I think it's kind of cool. I really do appreciate you for bringing me on here, so I can keep practicing telling my story, because I think sharing your story is important, because it's really a good way for people to get to know, like, and trust you. It's one of those factors, right? And before I got into online marketing, I came from a long history of working for a living for somebody else. I've had 31 jobs in 17 years. I actually have a little book. I wonder if I have it with, oh yeah, I have it right here. It's my little, my computer's probably going to go off kilter because I actually use it for a wedge on my laptop so it stays straight. But I have this work history book, and I actually went through and I counted every single jobs that I've had, because I just do that. And every job that I've had, you got to fill out your job history and phone numbers, and I didn't want to forget, so I always wrote down every single job that I've had. So I went through and I literally had 31 jobs in 17 years. I started back in 97, McDonald's was my first job, that kind of thing. So I realized that, I guess I'm a slow learner. I realized that, after 17 years, I'm like, I can't go on like this. Living paycheck to paycheck, not having purpose, not getting paid what I'm worth, that kind of thing. And what woke me up basically is, we always have that one person that is in the industry, or they're doing something different that catches your eye, and you're like, you mean this isn't the only way? Like, there's something different? Like, I don't have to keep doing this, because I've never been to college. That was my choice. I like to say that I've never been inside a college. I just drive by them, right? The only time I ever stop at a college if there's college students walking on the crosswalk. So when I got introduced to this industry, I'm like at the point where I'm like at my computer, ready to upload another stupid resume to a job that I didn't care about. I just needed to pay my bills. And I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere. You know, that job was it's just another filler just to get a paycheck. I wanted something that I was passionate about. I want to be able to like change the world. You know what I mean? It's like, I just wanted to do something different, because it got a little bit tiresome to be surrounded by negative people that feel like me, and they don't know if there's another way, or they don't believe they know how to do that. Right. So it kind of drugged me down a little bit. So then I got introduced into network marketing. I got in and I fell in love with it just almost right away. It was something new. It was something different. I never saw myself at some 9-to-5 for 30 years. I've never seen that in my life whatsoever. That wasn't going to be a part of my life. That's probably another reason why I went from job to job, because I got bored pretty easily. But in network marketing, there was something there. There was something different. There was people that started coming into my life that just inspired me, and they showed me my true potential, and I was able to basically find a purpose. And it was just so attractive that I just went with it and I ran with it. When I got in, though, I actually got in completely brand new. So like the only thing I knew how to do was upload a resume through an email. I've never been on social media. I've never had a Facebook account. I've never been on Twitter. I knew about it, and I'm like, oh, heck no, I am not going to get on that, because I don't need to have everybody I don't need to tell them what I'm doing every single day, because who would care? I'm going to work, I'm coming home, whatever. So I got into network marketing, and being online, it's actually pretty powerful, because there's such a large reach of people that you can get a hold of. Like, Lowell, you're in South Africa, right? And we have a whole bunch of people in our group that are from all over the world. I mean, how amazing is that? How cool is that? I think that's so cool. It's like you can't get that at any job. You get people that are local. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But how cool is it to actually be exposed to other cultures, right? And again, you could probably get that at a job site, right? But this is just something different, because it's something that it's a different kind of people, right? It's more positive people, like I was talking about. And in network marketing, you are constantly being challenged, and I never got that at my job. They expect you to do a certain job every single day for 30 years. I didn't want to do that. There's no room for growth. And at a job, yes, you could probably climb the corporate ladder, but you have to be passionate about where you work. And I'm not saying that, doctors and stuff shouldn't do what they do, because they're obviously passionate about what they do. So please be a doctor if you want to be a doctor, right? Or be a pet doctor or whatever, So, basically whatever your heart is pulling you and telling you where to go, do that. That's what I say. So if you don't feel that you're not in that place where you feel like you should be, and you should be going a different direction, maybe you should try network marketing. Okay, it's not for everybody, but I want everybody to experience it at least once. Have an open mind when you come in there and see what it's all about. Kind of give it a try. And we say in this industry is you don't try, you just do it. Okay, but it's like you have to get in there, and you have to at least give it a go for a while. And really find out if this is something that's for you. It's kind of like, trying on clothes. You got to try them on in order to see if it'll fit. So basically, I got into network marketing, and the way I got in was actually, I don't know if this happens a lot, but I happened to kind of get in on a back end offer from a person that, was doing another deal, and just wasn't interested in any of those other deals, but here's something else. Oh, okay, this looks pretty cool. This person was focused on this other deal, the first deal, but not the second one. So I really didn't have an upline, and I didn't really have a sponsor that I could reach out to and ask questions, because he wasn't really focused on that. So I basically had to do this all on my own. I did finally reach out to this person and ask him questions on how to basically get to his level in this industry. And long story short, he basically ignored me. I wasn't producing, so he didn't really want to talk to me at all. We had set up phone conversations, and he basically just pretty much ignored me. So basically, I had to learn everything on my own, pretty much. So, am I going on the right? Am I doing good? Is there anything else that, or should I keep going? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great, Kati. We all. I know you're going to bring it to where we kind of met each other, yeah, in
Yep.
the MLSP. You know, obviously the system that we're both involved in at the moment. So, what I was actually just thinking as well. I mean, are you? You know, we both. This is how we got to know each other, yeah, in MLSP. Do you currently also have another MLM that you're still actively involved in at the moment?
Actually, I actually got a couple of things going on, because when I got into this network marketing deal, this whole thing back in early 2013, that's when I started. I thought just one income stream was it. I mean, this was it. That's all I had to do. But I realized over time that things could happen. A company vision could change, or products can change, and you don't want to sell those products anymore. So now what do you do? Or maybe a company closes down or something. Anything can happen, right? So I decided to add multiple income streams. And when I saw MLSP, I saw that as a tool, like a marketing system that I could actually have what I'm selling, but sell it better. So actually, MLSP isn't really an MLM. It's actually just a marketing tool that you could. It's a service that you pay for every month. Whether you want to build teams or not, you don't have to. I mean, there's really no team building. You just have people who are buying the system, and you get a commission out of it. You know, that's cool. And so what they encourage is to plug in your other MLMs or direct selling products or services that you have. So I decided to add a few more, not a few, but a total of 3. Let's just say a few. So a few is 3 or more, but I do have one other MLM, and I also have just a couple of things that's kind of working in the background that hasn't really developed yet, but I'm saying that MLSP has helped me become a stronger marketer and able to have that multiple income streams and actually able to juggle that. So, but the way that we met, Lowell, is actually pretty cool. I think I knew you before this whole MLSP thing happened back in May. I think, didn't we? Didn't we know each other in a different company?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So it's I don't know exactly, almost a year. Well, let's just say it's only almost been a year since we know each other, but we really didn't chat and really get to know each other until we all came together into this one particular group. I thought it was pretty cool how we came together. Did you want me to tell that story a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead. There might be some details there that have slipped by me.
Yep, exactly. And so how we all kind of came together, we're basically before our current company that brought us together. We are like from different teams, and we had all different sponsors, but I think we all came from like had the same situation as me, where our sponsors, we weren't getting the attention, not the attention, but the help that we needed. We weren't getting the results that we wanted in our business. So we kind of found each other. I don't know exactly how we found each other, but as far as me finding like Dave Rainica, right? I actually met Pat Patterson first. I'm just going to throw some names out there. Some people may not even know who they are. But I kept meeting people that led me to more people. And this is what's so cool about network marketing, is that it's about networking with people, and you get to meet all different sorts of people, and it'll kind of lead you down this path to it's just awesome. Okay. And to meet, some key people in your life. So I met Pat Patterson, which then I met Dave Rainica, who is also in South Africa. We basically work really well together. So we basically became accountability partners and then business partners. And so, but we're like this big group of like orphanage. We had an orphanage, right? We had all these people from different teams that just were working together. So then when that company fell through and things changed and we weren't like where it was going, we said, hey, we need something that will replace that income because we're losing income. Hey, how about this? Well, it's all us together that working together anyways. We can benefit from each other and we can just all hook up and just kind of work it out that way. So that's where everybody started coming in and we started meeting, and getting to know each other a little bit more, and we could benefit from each other because, we could kind of like have our own sponsor basically and work with people that we already know, which is pretty nice. So, and I think that's a cool way that we just got together. So, what else did you want me to talk about?
Yeah, look, what I actually just wanted to add to that as well is obviously I was going to bring up Dave's name, but you did preempt me there. I think, as you were mentioning about networking and all that, I think anybody who is considering getting into it or has got into it and is still maybe a bit discouraged in terms of the kind of results and things they receive. I also maybe just want to mention, you were talking about how we actually eventually found each other, and you mentioned about feeling a bit orphaned in previous companies where you felt you weren't getting the right help and the right guidance and so on. And I think that is the one thing that you remind me now is that we do have in common. We've come to this place as two orphans wandering the streets out there, the lonely streets out there. And that's why I do want to also mention Dave Reinicke. He's a common mentor to both Kati and I. And in fact, also just to mention that Kati and her dad, we call him Pops, but his name is Chris. And the three of them, Kati, Pops, and Dave, have a Monday night hangout. South Africa, that's, let's see, it's just gone almost going 8:30. So that's about 5 hours away still. For anybody in the States, that takes place at 8 p.m. Eastern time across in the US. But any South Africans who want to catch that hangout need to be up at about 2 a.m. I think it is still before the time zones change around, and I think it advances an hour. I think that happens in November sometime, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, November 6th is, yep.
That's right, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that too, that, we do have the commonality of Dave. He's a South African. And so we were bound to bump into each other sometime. You search for previous companies that you've been in, you search for that name with any South African distributors, and that's how you go about finding people, and eventually that's how we've all come together into this Workshop Warriors group, as we call ourselves. And just to mention that about networking, don't give up. I'm sure with persistence you will eventually find the right people to associate with, and that's also what's nice about network marketing is the people you can actually choose who you bring into your business. You want to obviously be discreet about that sometimes, but whatever. But you eventually end up working with people you want to work with, and and they bring in the people they want to work with, and so that's how we all become one big happy family. I think in this particular space, as I've begun to experience. Okay, is that when we jump on these workshops together on the weekends, it gets pretty hectic on there. So yeah,
I
Kati,
think you're right on point. You are right on point on that. You actually reminded me of something where you get to pick and choose who you work with, and that's awesome, because I didn't get that right away when I first got into this industry. I'm like, everybody needs to have this opportunity. Everybody needs to make money, everybody, right? So I was obviously a spammer when I first got in there in this industry, but I've since learned my lesson, and it reminded me that when you're at a 9-to-5, you can't pick and choose who you work with. I mean, you could pick and choose where you work, but you're always going to find that same group of people that are just could be negative all the time. They hate their life or whatever. I don't know what's going on with them, but you get into this industry And it's more, you make more money if you pick and choose rather than pitching everybody the deal. You know what I mean? So that's right on point. And the Saturday night workshop, it reminds me that I just lost my train of thought. Did you see that go? Did you see it? That's how quickly that happens. I just forgot what I was going to say about the Saturday night workshop. I got lots to say about that Saturday night workshop. I do remember now. One of the things that a lot of us who are orphans or didn't get the right mentorship in our teams in our previous company, I think the Saturday night workshop was created because we didn't have that, and we didn't want to have that for anybody else. Okay, so we created that so they can have that right mentorship and have that right kind of guidance to help them along. And I think that Saturday night workshop is key. So it's right on, and it's free. It's like we don't get paid to do that. I mean, how cool is that? Because we understand how much it sucks to struggle. So we just love helping people and helping win. So I think that's a pretty good deal we got there. I see Jackie in the comments. I see Terry. I see Dave Rainica. I want to say hello. Thank you for stopping by. So
yeah, guys, thanks very much for joining us. Those names all sound very familiar to me as well. I don't have the comment screen up at the moment, so I'm going a bit blind here. But thanks, Kati, for being my eyes and ears as far as that's concerned. And I'd like to welcome everybody listening in. Yeah, man, I think as I did mention to you, we don't have to stretch it to the whole hour this evening. But I was also thinking it would be great to maybe ask you to share with us a little bit about how, the just maybe 3 or 4 tips that you would typically get a newbie. So let's say somebody's contacted you and they want to get going. What are the first sort of 4 or 5 tips that you give anybody interested in getting started?
absolutely. And one of the mistakes that people make is that when they come into a system and if they have training products, people just don't go through the training, and I'm not really sure. Maybe that the reason why I went through the training is because maybe it's the OCD in me where I had to go to every single training to make sure I didn't skip any steps. And I think that helped me understand what I was selling, helped me understand how to sell it, how to talk to people, because they have training product. In MLSP specifically, they have a ton of stuff. How to prospect people on social media, how to write your emails better, how to basically do anything. It seems like it's all in one place. And what's most important about what we have in our marketing system that we use is that they have these 6 steps. So if someone's coming in and you decide to go ahead and see what this is all about, there's going to be 6 simple steps. They don't take that long. Just you have to take like at least an hour in order to go through all that and really dive into it. So that's my first tip. If they have a training product, they have steps, go through them and don't skip any of them. I remember when I got into my first company, that was one of the first things that they said in the video after I joined. They say, here's how to do it. Don't skip over any steps and just keep doing it. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll just go ahead and do that without any question, right? Because obviously this person is in this place where I want to be, so obviously I'm going to listen to them, right? And I think sometimes I'm trying to wrap my head around why people just don't do that is because maybe they don't have this belief in them, or maybe they're trying to find a reason why it maybe won't work. And they're trying to prove something because maybe something didn't prove in the past, or we're kind of conditioned to say like, well, there's a lot of scams out there and all this other stuff. So I don't know, it's just kind of strange. But so go through the steps, go through the training. It's super important. The next tip I would do is build up your network. I don't care if they're in the same company as you. I don't care if they're in your niche, obviously. But everybody who's in the industry, build up your network. I don't care who they are, because I'm not saying like friend request everybody everywhere, right? You don't want to get into Facebook jail if you keep friend requesting people. The key part is find mutual friends. That's how to stay out of Facebook jail. If you have mutual friends, you won't get put in Facebook jail. So connect with people who are in the industry, because you want to start building that network and start building that rapport with people, you know, to kind of get your name out there, right? So you want to get noticed. You definitely want to get noticed. That means you have to have a Facebook. I mean, I'm a Facebook person, so it's easy for me to say get Facebook, but there's some people who would rather have Twitter than Facebook. And there's people who would rather, you know, I guess there's this like imaginary feud between Facebook and Twitter or something, that, you know, if someone is a Twitter person, they hate Facebook, and then vice versa. But whatever you're comfortable with, you have to be easily accessible for people to reach out to you, because something that's important about this industry, it's all about attraction marketing. You want to attract people to you, and that's your goal. And the best way to do that is to give out value. So that's my next tip, is make sure you give out value. I do the 80-20 rule. Everybody, have you heard of that, the 80-20 rule? I'm sure a lot of people have heard of that.
Yeah, share that with us as well, yeah.
Yeah, so the 80-20 rule is, I think I have that on my bookshelf right here. Hold on, let me move a couple of stuff. All right, hold on. Okay, a lot of stuff fell, that's okay. So the 80-20 rule by Perry Marshall, he talks about that in sales and marketing. So he basically tells you there's 80% of the time you're going to focus on something, 80, and then 20% of the time you're going to focus on a different thing. So it's like an 80-20 rule. But I want you to get this book so you can understand that. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, because I don't want to sit here for a half hour trying to explain it, but what I use it in my business, this is important, this is what I want you to focus on, is 80% of the time you want to give out value, and 20% of the time you want to promote. A lot of times people come into this industry and they do it backwards. I've done it, where 80% of the time I'm like promote, and then 20% of the time I'm showing either lifestyle or whatever. People don't want that. That's not attraction marketing. You want to give people value, okay? Because that will build up your credibility. It'll build up your authority. It will build up your influence. And people are going to watch you. I'm going to tell you about my very first post I made on Facebook. I was at the company event. I joined the company. 5 days later, I was at the event. That weekend, I opened up my very first Facebook account, because I was told to, of course. At the event, you gotta have Facebook. Oh, okay. So I opened up Facebook. I did my first post, and I made this long post saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm on my Facebook. Here's why. I started a new business up, you know," and I just started spamming. My very first post on Facebook. Oh gosh, that was so embarrassing. Oh, seriously. And I say that now. I didn't think so then, because I thought, like, oh my gosh, everybody needs this product. I need to tell her. So right away I spam people with my link and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh. So if I would have came on Facebook and I just been myself, you know what I mean? Because I'm, like you said, I'm an optimistic person. I'm enthusiastic. I'm just me, right? So I wanted to be me. I should have been me right away. So 80% of the time, give out value. 20% you have the right to promote. There's another book out there called Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. And I got the book right here. Hold on. I think. Oh, wait. I know where it is. It's over here. I'm all over the place, right? So here is the Jab, 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 Right Hook. So you want to get this. You want to get this too, because he actually talks about how to do that 80-20. This is the 80. This is the 20. Okay? You have all these jabs. The jabs is the value. That's the value you give to people. You're creating curiosity. They want to know. They're going to watch you. They're going to watch you grow. People are going to watch you, whether they're people in your niche, your leads. When they find you on Facebook, people are going to find you. They're going to be watching you. And typically they say in sales that they won't buy anything until they've been exposed about 7 times, right? So you want to give out that jabs. And you don't want to ruin that exposure with spam, 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 spam. Because then you're just going to look like everybody else, and they're just not going to follow you anymore. You want to create that curiosity and do that jab and give out that value, and then that will give you the right to give them a right hook, I think. So that's pretty cool.
Katie, thanks very much for those 3 points. I've written them all 3 down, and I've learned something tonight. I've been taking notes. I hope everybody else online has maybe scribbled down 1 or 2 things that Katie shared with us. And yeah, I was just had to have a chuckle when you were talking about the way you started on Facebook there. I actually got into it before I was really, aware that you could use it for marketing. And that, I think back in the early days of Facebook, it was just a way to, I think it was my brother who introduced me, and I thought this is a cool way to keep in touch with him, and it sort of grew from there. But one of the very first times that I did try and promote something on Facebook, I actually sent a link to my, I've got my own domain with my name, lowellvickers.com. And I started using that to started sending people to that, and somebody decided, no, this is enough spam, and they banned my domain name off Facebook. So I haven't actually checked if I haven't asked for permission to get it reinstated or anything like that. But for now, I just avoid using it on there because I know that it'll probably come up with a block or something like that. So that is one of my early lessons in there, and very good idea to go through the steps if any of you are interested in having a look at MLSP and signing up with us on that. One of the first things that you do learn, one of the courses that we do offer on there is how to avoid Facebook jail, for instance. And then as Katie was mentioning also about adding value, initially I didn't quite understand what that meant, but through these workshops that we've been having is that we've learned this concept of learn, do, teach. Learn, do, teach. And if you just start following that simple cycle, okay, is as you learn something, now you've actually acquired some value. You might not realize it, but if you've learned something new in a live broadcast that you've been listening to, or you've gone online and you've done some studying along social marketing lines, or whatever it is your passion is, if you've learned something new today, then you're in a position to share that value with somebody else. And even if you start small like that, take that little nugget or those 3 tips that you may have scribbled down and blog about them, or create a vlog, a video, share that. And that's how you start adding value, and that's how you start filling up that 80% that Katie was talking about. When I started, I thought, how do I give more value than what I promote? Because I see the value in whatever it is I'm promoting. So you instinctively want to just go and promote that, but you don't understand what your own value is. And I think that's basically what Katie was trying to bring across here as well, is give your own value away out there for people to use, and without any comebacks, without any expecting anything in return. I think that's the big thing, and you'll be surprised at how that attraction factor starts kicking in then. So yeah, that's basically just what I wanted to comment on great tips that Katie gave us. And with that, I just want to maybe give her an opportunity to wrap things up from her side, and then we'll wrap it up from there.
All right, thank you. So I have this one more thing that I wanted to mention is right now I'm actually working on a free course on how to get yourself out there on, well, I'm going to be specifically talking about Facebook because that's where I got my start. And all these years that I've, over 3 years that I've made mistakes, what I've learned, I have some really cool, awesome modules that I'm going to go through. So I'm working on that this week. So I want to give an opportunity to, when that's done, go down below this video or below this video or somewhere in the description area or just below this video, there should be a link for you to get that free course. And I think, we'll have that available for you. And I'm sure I'll give, a little access to that so you can give it to you guys who are watching. So it's totally free. I want you people to get started off the right foot. I don't care if you've had Facebook for a few minutes or if you're the first Facebook ever. when Facebook started. There's going to be some important information, that ninja tricks that I got there, where to find that content, how to share that value, that kind of stuff, how to get noticed by top leaders. Like Lowell said in the very beginning, it's a strategy that I actually stumbled on by accident, and it actually helped me create that credibility and that authority in the industry. Where you called me the rising star. I don't know if I'm a rising star per se, because I don't know. It's just I feel kind of, you're making me blush here, right? But I just love what I do. I mean, I don't really care for the fame. I just love what I do, and I just love helping people, because network marketing is a pretty cool career. Like our buddy Dave Ranica likes to say, you learn, do, teach, and then do it until you're dead. Do it until you're dead. This is my lifelong career, and I'm doing this until I'm dead. I work at 25 hours a day. I love it. So I appreciate you, Lowell. Thank you so much for having me on here. Thank you.
Kati, thank you very much. And I thought you'd eventually bring in that you disclose to everybody the real secret of your success is that 25-hour per day stress that you do. But just to comment on that as well, I think I saw a comment I think that my wife posted over the weekend about if you're working hard at something you don't like doing, that's called stress, and if you're working hard at something you do love doing, that's called passion. And I think if once that passion kicks in, you don't mind putting in the hard work and the long hours, and that's exactly what we see you doing, and that's obviously one of the reasons I brought you on here today is your passion and your story and that. And so I do want to thank you very much for taking the time, and hopefully some of the listeners will catch us together somewhere on a workshop or something. But do enjoy the rest of your day there, and thanks once again, Kati.